address the issue of birthright citizenship. And now, 22 states are suing to block Republicans from overturning this deeply flawed policy. Let me tell you, the policy is so deeply flawed. If you've read the 14th Amendment, if you remember the time frame that took place in, I'll give you all a math it is.
13th Amendment.
14th Amendment. Can any of y'all tell me which amendment preceded the 14th Amendment?
13th Amendment.
Math majors out there, of course.
Abolishing slavery.
Amendment, which abolished slavery. The intent of our founders and our members of Congress back then was to make sure that African Americans got a place in America. Now, I've talked to judges, some of them in Congress that said, well, no, birthright citizenship is part of the 14th Amendment. I said, look, just because some court has interpreted that doesn't make it right, doesn't make it law. The courts and the judges get it wrong. Supreme Court gets it wrong all the time. They actually ruled that African Americans could be counted as 3/5 of the
Indigenous.
The census records, right?
Aboriginals.
They also ruled that Negroes can use separate equal bathrooms. I think it was Brown versus Board of Education.
Why they titled us African American? Let's be real. The term African American sounds respectful, right? It sounds official. It sounds proud, like a bridge to heritage. But if you look deeper, you'll see that label was never just about identity. It was about control. See, once they stripped the word American from the copper-colored people who already lived here, they had to find a new box to put us in. And African American was that box. Now, every label that we've ever had in this country came from somebody else, from colored to Negro to black to African American. None of those names came from our own mouths. The label African American didn't even become mainstream until late 1980s, after Jesse Jackson started promoting it as a way to connect black people to a global heritage, which is the Africans. And on the surface, it sounded empowering, but underneath it quietly erased the fact that many of us had roots right here before the slave ships ever came. So that's why African Americans are called African Americans, so they can confuse the copper-colored people that don't remember their heritage in the first place.
They keep that African labels to you is because of one reason: resistance. Understand, resistance. The only place these folks ever faced resistance was here, America. Amarukan. We were the only continent or the only group of people that actually defeated their asses. Let me say it again, because there's a lot of so-called native tribes, right, telling you, oh, you know, we was fighting in it. Listen, you're fighting nothing compared to our ancestors' fight. We were the fight. We were the ultimate fight that changed the world, that changed the reality that they buried. Okay? So now understand. They understand that if they attach you with a name like African, they are safe. They are safe spiritually, because that term Africa means that you are not only named after a woman soldier, general named Sopio Africanus. Not only that, that means the vibration that comes to you, that means you conquered. Okay, so you're a conquered people. Number two, Africa never have an uprising that's successful to the point they kick the invaders out. Matter of fact, you can even call invaders because they come from there. Europe is not a continent. Europe is another extension of Africa. The Middle East is not another continent. The Middle East is still an extension of Africa. So make no mistake, this is one place, and everybody's operated on. Before the Great Reset, they start to change things and flip the map and telling you that we are West and they are East. No, it's all a propaganda. I'm going to get to it so you know what the game being played. Now, here in the old East, we are in the old East. We the oldest continent. Make no mistakes. People out there want to debate, I'll send you the facts and we can go to it as far as of common sense and logic. Logic can bring all the truth to the table. We don't have to get the book of these folks that have been brainwashed us, and they have an agenda behind their educational system. It's to keep you in certain position, or it's to keep the narrative going, and if that narrative going, then they're going to have their foot on your neck. So you know that truth. Now think about it. How? Here in America, we have the biggest indigenous uprising where we kicked their asses out. We defeated all of the world superpowers. What are they? We defeated the British, we defeated the French, and we defeated the Spaniards. So, when you're talking about the biggest indigenous war, it happens right there where they came from for the first time. Let me say it again. The place that they all set foot for the first time. Oh my God.
Now, see, naming is power. Whoever controls your name controls your narrative. By calling us African American, they gave us an identity that begins with displacement. It starts with the story of slavery, not the story of sovereignty. Because if you're African American, then your history begins in 1619. But if you're indigenous, copper-colored, or Afro-Indigenous, your story begins before Columbus ever got lost, before America became America. And that's the real reason the label stuck. It keeps you disconnected from the land, from the inheritance, from the truth that your ancestors were already here. Okay? There's a reason the system changes what they call us every few decades. Because once a label starts to lose control, they rebrand it. Colored didn't work once we started to demand equality. Negro didn't work once we built movements. Black became powerful, too powerful, so they softened it into African American, a term that sounds inclusive but keeps your roots foreign. They don't want you to say, I'm indigenous to this land. They want you to say, my people came from somewhere else. Because if you're from somewhere else, you can't claim anything here.
No, I'm not. You just said that you're not African American, you're Black American. Like,
What do you call Jamaicans?
what? Huh?
First of all, your background loud as hell. Where you at?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you said that you're not
I asked you a question.
African American, you're Black.
I know. What do you call Jamaicans?
They are Caribbean.
No. What is it? Okay. People that come from Jamaica, what do you call them?
I low-key don't even know.
What do you mean you don't know? What do you call someone that comes from Jamaica? What is their ethnicity?
They're Jamaican.
Why don't you call them African Jamaicans?
Because you're not African. They're not from Africa.
Jamaicans? Okay, so when did Jamaicans get to Jamaica and when did Black Americans get to America?
Jamaicans, oh my gosh, here you go
You're
again.
starting to think a little bit now, aren't we? When did Jamaicans get to Jamaica? Answer the question.
They were just there, I guess.
No, they
I don't know. Are they from Africa?
What?
I don't
You
know.
don't know?
Oh my God.
You don't know where the majority of the people from the transatlantic slave went to? Do you know?
No.
They went to the Caribbean and they went to Brazil, South America. And the small percentage of the people that came from the transatlantic slave trade that came to America got to America at the same time that Jamaicans that came from Africa got to Jamaica. So they just stop, hold on. I want you to let's I'm having a teacher moment. How are Jamaicans just Jamaican and they're not from Africa, but melanated people from America are African American and they're from Africa, but both of those people got to this side of the world at the same exact time. How are they Jamaican and we're African American? Explain that.
Because we're in America, so.
But they're in Jamaica. What continent is Jamaica in?
It's in. I don't know.
You don't know it's in North America, sweetheart.
Okay.
So then the thing that you would say, if we're African Americans, then Jamaicans are African Jamaicans, right?
I mean.
What do you mean? I mean, if both of our people got to this side of the world at the same exact time, how are we African Americans and not just Americans? And how are they Jamaicans and not African Americans? Where does what are you like? Where's the confusion?
I don't know. I guess because like.
Because what?
I mean, that's a good question. Honestly, I don't really know.
That's the problem because a lot of people are uneducated. Most of the do you know?
Black?
Huh?
So you don't. So you consider yourself just a black person? Just not.
I'm a black American. Do you know the people that were classified on paper as black?
Yes, but
Who are they?
but you're African though, because your ancestors are from Africa.
What ancestors do people that come from Brazil? Where do their ancestors come from?
I'm going to say Africa.
People that come from Japan, where do their ancestors come from?
I'm going to say Mongols.
No, they come from Africa because all life and people came from Africa, correct?
Yeah.
So by that logic, everybody's in Africa, correct?
Right.
So would you consider Jamaicans black? Or not, I'm sorry, would you consider Japanese people black?
Oh no.
Why not if they all came from Africa? Like the logic that you just gave me.
Because they got mixed in with other things.
Just like we did. We got mixed in with Native Americans and we got mixed in with the portion of the population that came from Africa. So we got mixed in with Native Americans just like they got mixed in with other people as well. So by that logic, because you just use the logic with me, you just said you're black if you come from Africa. So if all life came from Africa, Asians, Indians, people from Australia, even Europeans, if all life that came to existence started in Africa, by that logic, all people are black, correct?
Right.
So then your logic isn't making any sense then.
I guess not.
But here's the truth. We don't need permission to name ourselves. We've always had names before they gave us titles. Names connected to tribes, to land, to legacy. Whether you identify as Moorish, Indigenous, Afro-Indigenous, or simply original American, the point is, stop letting other people define you. Every label they give you comes from limitations. Our true identity is bigger than their check boxes. African American was supposed to unite us, but instead it quietly disconnected us from the soil our ancestors walked on. Until we start naming ourselves again, we'll keep living in labels designed to keep us confused. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll believe whatever the system tells you to be. You can't talk about reclaiming your identity without reclaiming your money, because while they've renamed us and rewrote our history, they've also kept our dollars trapped in systems that don't power back into us. That's why I rock with One United Bank, the largest black-owned bank in America. They're about building wealth, not just holding money. When you bank with them, your money stays in our community, circulating, empowering, and growing. So if you're ready to take back control of your name and your finances, check out One United Bank today, because ownership starts with where you put your power. This is unapologetically my opinion, and in the next episode, we're breaking down the system behind it all, how history, law, and education work together to erase and rename a nation.